Just press it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But this is like this is the school district. And who that is, and look at all of the misspelling in his.
I'll
make sure I forward that.
Now, in his defense, and there's not much of one for me, but I will say that was correspondence to Miss Lane in school memo. So there's, in the sake of a day. Trustee Hodge, yeah, I gotta start class in a matter of moments, and I know. I'm so happy that you.
Gave a little bit of
Latitude
there, but
I'm
still.
so happy you've never seen it in my correspondence.
I've corrected Dana on the spelling of the gentleman's name, so if we do a plaque or something, it's gonna have the correct spelling.
Oh, my name is spelled out my 20-year. Oh, just, yeah, hey, I can blame that guy for whatever. Ladies and gentlemen, I believe we're all in attendance. I would like to call this meeting to order at 11:45. May we all please stand for the flag salute. Ready to begin.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call.
Myers. Jackson. Here, Gray. Here, Hodge. Page.
Here.
Carney. Here. Jennifer.
Here.
Pinda. Kabusta. Cobro. Absent. And Martha McLaughlin. Absent. We have a quorum.
Fellow trustees, may I have an motion to adopt this agenda?
Motion to adopt this agenda.
Do we have to do all that?
This is the page. Yeah, you're good.
Following the protocol. in front of you. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for attending today. Public comment and communication of non-agenda items. So am I reading this?
Yeah, they do get it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, during this portion of the meeting, members of the public may address the board members on matters not on the agenda. In such matters are within the subject of jurisdiction of the board. Members of the public may address the board regarding items on this agenda immediately prior to their being discussed by the board. There are time limits, 3 minutes per speaker, 20 minutes per subject will be imposed by the board president. No person shall initiate charges or complaints against individual employee or students of the district at a public meeting. At this time, are there any public comment? I see none, so we shall continue. This is a continuation of a meeting that we had, and we are going to be taking care of 1, 2, 3, 4 items that were not fulfilled in our last gathering. So we will start off with 12J. This is for the approval to dedicate the Hoopa High School stage to Mr. Dennis Doran.
So I received communication from Mr. Soho, who is the art teacher at the high school, and you have a copy of his communication. And he's wanting to dedicate the high school cafeteria stage to Mr. Doran for his many years of service as a music instructor. And the wife has been contacted. She's in agreement that this could be a nice thing. I support it. I do.
That I heard from some native folks is they wonder, is he the only person in the district that is non-native that has helped keep that stage there, or that's been a part of that, that would be, so we would honor that person.
I have was there a committee or a petition? Because I think this should go to some kind of a committee who's looking, because I have the same concern.
Okay, so all I know is what he had emailed us, and so I know what you know.
Okay,
I don't know if there was a committee. I don't believe there was. And to answer Debbie's question, is he the only non-native that we've ever done a dedication for? Does anybody help me with that? I mean, who said they have to wait?
last year. Well, I think that, there should be a committee to look at this, any kind of dedication, not just go forward with it and have one person's email. I have certain feelings about this that I don't necessarily want to say in public, but I feel like to talk to the committee, My motion is to send this to a committee. Or directed to you to have a meeting put together. I don't think we need a motion.
Okay, I will follow up with this teacher and this email, and I will do that today and let him know that he needs to have a committee and plan a meeting where we can discuss that and it can be open and in public.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? I'll just chime in and say I had the privilege to work around Mr. Doran, Dennis Doran, for many, many years. His commitment to our community is still lingering and was at the time very, very positive. He was that guy that could make something out of nothing. As we all know in education, or some of you may not know, music budgets, music attention, music. They don't, those budgetary opportunities, they do work on a shoestring. They're not acknowledged enough in our past KT experience, and he was able to keep it going. And he put out some really good stuff over decades, choirs, music. His choir award case is full. His dedication, like many teachers in the district, well over and beyond, willing to do anything for anyone. I can just echo for a lot of colleagues at Dennis Doran. He is worthy of this dedication to be a place on our campus. If it's not the stage, it better be a guitar at least. He was an amazing person, very accomplished musician that could play anything. I mean, anything. So we'll just tell this board, public that's here, that Dennis Doran is definitely, he deserves to be recognized by his years of service in this district. Sure, fun. Interaction with them is always phenomenal. On the school campus for us. I can speak as a teacher in this district.
Okay, well, I will follow up with the committee.
Excellent. Ladies and gentlemen, no action necessary on item J, so we will move to item K. Ladies and gentlemen, approve out-of-state travel for David Scotty Appleford, special projects administrator, to attend the National Community Schools and Family Engagement Conference in Philadelphia, June 6th through 9th. You ready for some hot weather? 2023 at the cost of $3,770. Yeah. Sure.
First of all, it says that the conference has reached its capacity ready, the flyer that he gave us.
Okay.
And so my question is, did he already register?
So
Yeah.
I would like him to respond. First of all, could you stand up? and
Sure,
give us a
sure.
little Background.
I just happened to walk in here. I didn't even know that this was part of what we were doing today.
Trustee Brennan, do you have anything further before we release? Anything else?
There are a couple questions
Yeah.
about this.
So I'd like you to direct those questions to the actual person.
Okay.
Because I had COVID and I was out for a while and I don't know the answer.
All
Okay.
right, Trustee Brennan.
So my question was that, did you already register before it was approved? Is that what you?
We did through a purchase order just in case this wasn't approved, just so I could secure a spot. At the time, this was presented to me by the folks at Northern Humboldt. A lot of the workshops that are associated, and there's a ton of them, we're filling up quickly. So we went ahead and did that. But I have not booked the flights nor the lodging as instructed to wait until it's good to go.
And my other question was, tell me a little bit about this and why you as a special teacher on assignment, whatever. I doesn't know all the background of it.
Sure,
and why
sure.
you would be-
So currently I'm working with the grant, community schools grant, and 75% of my salary is coming out of that community schools grant, which was just approved 3 days ago. And so with the team of the Northern Humboldt folks that I'm working with, they're attempting to encourage all of us to go to this conference in Philadelphia, which is the nationwide conference for all the community school grant implementers and folks that have been doing this for quite a while. And so it's a learning. We'll be visiting other sites that have had community schools in place years prior. And so they're encouraging me to go.
So because we just received notification 3 days ago, which I sent to all of you, that we got 5.6 million,
5.4.
5.4 million over the
Just
next, how many?
It's a 5-year grant.
5 years, that it became really necessary for us to send somebody. Okay, he wrote the grant, he helped, do the whole thing, he knows the ins and out of it. He would be more appropriate to go instead of me. Okay, that's.
In particular, I'm hoping to glean from the grant is to look at different models of how that money is being spent, because that's where all the hard work is for us, especially here, right? We have to put positions into place. We have to provide some professional development. There's a whole gamut of things that we should be doing. So I'm interested in looking at some models from some schools that have been doing this for a while to get the idea. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. It sounds to me, and I don't know this to be completely true, but it sounds to me a good portion of the actual conference will be in a big room all together, and then a lot of there'll be trips to these different places that are doing community school work, community members and schools alike.
Okay, so to answer her first question, when you provided the backup, it says it's all full. So the Northern Humboldt people saved you a seat.
I went in and
You
physically,
saved yourself
I went
a
in and
seat
physically
prior to-
registered.
in case we got it
Yes.
easier to cancel than it is to add. I
Yes.
think.
And so it hasn't been paid yet.
Thank you.
Your spot is now.
My spot is held, yes, ma'am.
And it's coming out of the grant. So.
Should send 2 people.
Trustee Myers,
Well, I make a motion to approve this for him, and then knowing that when you come back, you'll share with all your
Yeah.
colleagues and teachers throughout the
Yeah,
district.
absolutely. And if Philly's as hot as Mr. from Tilton saying, I'm probably gonna be glad to.
Like to get a report too.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
we have a motion on the floor. Trustee
Second.
Myers, we have a second. Trustee Gray. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Okay.
Any opposed? None opposed, noted. Motion carried.
Thank you.
Travel safe. We move to item I, 12I, approval to suspend all district-wide extracurricular activities for the remainder of the 22-23 school year due to safety concerns.
This item was added by me because Monday, I was notified that the community was on high alert due to the threats that have been made over the last month since April, that some kids wanted to shoot up the school. I have been in contact with teachers that have told me they are afraid to drive past the reservation border because these people are out and about in the community and they're afraid that, they could find them somewhere. So the threat level was high at the time that we added this to the motion. So if it's that unsafe or it's that scary, why would we entertain any of our extracurricular activities where we would bring the public in to endanger them? So maybe this was discussed at Jack Morton, maybe it wasn't. But
It was this.
we have state championship softball where, they're number 1, they're ready to host, right? And if that's at the same site where everybody's too afraid to go to work, why would we do that? Number two, we have prom coming up for the high school. Okay, well, if they're gonna shoot up, the school, then how do we know they wouldn't go out there and, target students? We don't know, right? Number three, we have, what else? Del Arte players ready to come in and do performance for the elementary school. If it's too safe for them, unsafe for the parents to send their kids to school, then why would we entertain having? So the point is, what is the feeling of the board and the community at this time as to the safety level? You've heard my report, you've heard my statement, you've heard that we've had extra support officers at that site. You've heard that we are engaging in safety plan discussions with everyone so that they know the drills. Where this comes from is really the parents. They're not saying cancel anything. I'm saying, are we so afraid that we need to go to this level? So I pose the question to the board, because this is over my jurisdiction. Do we feel that we are currently living in this sort of state of fear? And if so, if we were to the level, because I heard a teacher ask me, can I go to Trinity Valley and remotely teach my kids on the internet? And they're sitting in a classroom in Hoopa Elementary. I've had that asked of me because they're that afraid. I've had somebody else, the principals actually of that school, promoting on social media and other locations, independent study for the student. Okay, why? Why are we promoting independent study when we're saying, is it that unsafe? Really? So I need to hear from my community. I need to hear from my board, whether or not we still feel that we are at, red alert at Hoopa Elementary, or do we feel that through the proactive things that we've done for the last week, and Willie can testify to some of those, he's conducted at least 2 trainings at Hoopa Elementary, correct?
Meetings, Jen.
Meetings where you went over the safety protocol. You've been testing the alarms for the teachers that can't hear them. You've been ordering new cameras for the teachers that are complaining that they can't see because it's too blurry, their camera doesn't work. We've added, the first day, Monday, we added some Humboldt County Sheriff officers. We've gone to the homes of these people, of the students that allegedly wanted to shoot up the school. We've looked around, we've determined from the officer's perspective that there is no threat. They said it, yes. They said it. Where did they say it? They did not say it at school. They said it in their home. They said it at the ball field. Yes, we're required to notify everyone by law that a threat was made. We did that. But are we living up here where we're too scared to work, but we still want to get paid and we want to make all these amendments? Or are we living down here where we're going to be okay? That's my position.
I would like to hear, Kim, if your teachers, if there's more than 1 or 2 teachers that feel that way.
The particular person that wanted to do Zoom was actually named. That's why it was a request for her. As far as I know, everybody else is on site.
Right. And the other thing is, well, I didn't hear it was a group of people that were saying they were going to do that. I understand from what Willie said that it was 1 student at the elementary school. That said
It's
they were
actually
gonna do
been 2
that.
students over the course of the
2
month of
students.
April.
So 2
One
students.
wrote in a journal, one said it at a ballpark.
Right, and to me.
And sorry, you have a.
So just to clarify a little bit on the first one, who wrote it in the journal. So we had a meeting on Monday with multiple agencies from, and because usually when that person was taken out of the county facility, they're supposed to have a discharge plan with Humboldt County. But later on, we found that facility in Santa Rosa discharged them to the York tribe. And so that's why, and it was not a communication there, so now I'm not gonna say that, but that's what happened there. And then when we talked to the investigator from Humboldt County, only name that came out was a Hoop Elementary student. The 2 staff members never came out in their investigation. That's only in the journal. And the journal was basically, the family now has pulled that journal from anything, and we don't have access to that journal. So Humboldt County never saw the journal. It'll just hearsay that it came out those two staff members. So the only person from that first one was one elementary student. That's been investigated by Humboldt County.
So when the Jurok tribe took custody or whatever of this student, they're assuming custody of him? And
No,
his
no, no,
families and that
they're still at
kind of-
home, but they have taken, they're gonna do with their human services, social workers, I guess there's a child psychologist that works for them, and they're working on an aftercare plan for that person. So, because at first, there was nothing notified to the school and said, hey, the family's being resistant, but family now says, the York tribe is helping us.
So I'm gonna ask a question again from the community. Kim, you're the teacher union representative. How are your teachers? Are they afraid? What's the threat level? I couldn't quite hear your answer to Debbie, so I need to know.
So at first, yes, there was concern, but when we saw the response, I think everybody felt a little bit better. And then we went over the training with Willie, we felt a lot better. We felt like we were all on the same page.
So
We show
do we
up,
know if
we're
the one
there.
teacher that was in communication with me is coming back?
I could talk to her.
But not back currently.
I don't know, because I'm in my classroom locked, with the door's locked.
So they have to not back.
I'm doing my job.
Well, I would think that, I don't, in my opinion, folks, I don't think it's President Bloom's. I don't think it's her responsibility to contact this teacher, Jennifer. I think it's your responsibility.
Okay, and I have, and she's told me no. And so that presents the threat level still to me. That
Answer
is
from that teacher, it sounds like, so. Your communication with that teacher in question, I think that's who you are, that's what you do.
Sure, and so, but it's not my decision, you know, if it's so unsafe. How unsafe do we feel? Are we ready to shut it down? Are we ready to keep going?
Ready to keep going. I'm ready to keep going.
Me too, especially like the fish run that affects my neighborhood and the folks in my area. And, you know, it's an important event for them. Elders get involved, preschool gets, and everybody's on the road, taking that fish so far up the road, and it's a big.
Yes.
And I
positive thing.
think it should be between Willie and you to make that call. If we enter some kind of threat that you guys feel that we have to shut down, then we have to shut down.
Because I am not recommending it. I am asking you guys, because you are the governing body of this district. Are we in an unsafe position?
The
Or are
governing
we?
body has already stated that correct me if I'm wrong, trustees, that we have full faith in, we hired a resource officer,
Right?
and we hired an interim superintendent to analyze any and all events. If there is a risk that presents itself, that you would have that instrumental say on the safety of our district and our children and our families in this community.
Right.
Trustees, do you agree with that?
Yes.
I do, but at the same time, we need our teachers to feel safe too. And if this
Correct.
particular teacher is not feeling safe, then we need to try to do something to help, you know. work with
Security
that.
officer at the site
Sure.
to make her feel safer or?
Well,
make
we've
anybody feel
offered
safer?
extra security just for that teacher, escorting go to and from. Like I reported earlier, fixing the camera,
It
making
was fixed yesterday.
it's fixed, it's fixed.
Members of the board, we have a motion at this time, or are there any further discussions from the crowd?
I think the matter drops for lack of a motion. I think we discussed it. You don't need to have a motion.
All right.
We're not saying that you're, you know, we're saying that we want you to and will. to make it.
And we will continue to
Yeah.
do so like we have
Right,
all
yeah.
year.
Right.
What I was hearing and what I was afraid of is that my community was getting misinformation and that my community was in an
Oh, and
uproar
I saw that.
about, is it safe to send my kids? And the messages were going out, no, we're getting an independent study, we're doing this, we're doing this. Well, is it safe or is it not?
I
And I
wonder if
think
a
we-
message to the community would be warranted to ensure that things are in place to help people feel more safe for anybody who maybe doesn't have information is placing their child on independent study for that reason, right? Just for lack of knowing. So maybe we can issue a statement.
So record for community purposes, Director Reese is echoing the idea that communication needs to improve with district and community regarding this and many other matters, especially this. Recognize the floor.
Worst case scenarios, also echoing what's been said, I think the initial messaging was very alarming. I think it would be nice to have it go out that all, there has been threat assessments, the threat assessment is low, but precautions are still being taken. I think that will put a lot of the community at ease. But also given the option to stay home, I see a lot of kids saying, oh, well, this happened. So if I do this, we'll be able to stay home. So I also see that being an issue.
Very good.
I just want to say that, I take my son to school and I really appreciate seeing the extra long and I know that even more is going. To me, I feel if our experts in this area are allowing our school to be open, that we should trust that they're doing everything they can regarding any threat, because it could happen any day at any time. It's not just because we had this incident happen. So that's the way I feel about it. I feel if our experts have the school open, we need to trust that things are in place. There always has been an emergency plan. We need to do the drills more apparently, but I trust our people, and if the school's open, I feel that it is safe. But I also recognize that there are individuals that may feel more afraid than the next individual, and that does have to be addressed.
I think it was a good opportunity right now to all of us to begin talking about. It's brought it to the surface and we're revisiting what our safety plan is and nailing it down, so to speak, how we're going to move forward, because it is happening across the nation and it is escalating and
Everywhere.
everywhere.
And the fact that we had a bank robbery in which the suspects are still at large, made everybody even more fearful because, we use everything we can to protect our children. Just know that. I think, and I believe, and it is my opinion, that our schools are the safest places to be in this community. It's going to take somebody an awful lot to get through our barricades and to get through our people. Because everybody's been, if anything came out of this, that everybody's more hyper vigilant now. And I believe that Willie's responding to more kinds of calls of people acting, reporting something suspicious, which is how the conversation starts. That's how we begin to heal. We don't just protect those, we need to get them help.
So I have a question about our other school sites. Do all of our school sites have alarm systems and intercoms and telephones that they can call each other if, say, the teacher's having a problem in her
To
room?
the best of my knowledge, yes. So Willie, are they all operating at every site?
Trinity Valley, everybody has, see, Witchbeck has 2 rooms. I don't know about Witchbeck has 3 rooms, but everybody else has the Vicon system where they can hit the lockdown. Also, Jack Norton's, they work. Their lockdown system works.
Yeah, but
And
do
the
they
fire
have
alarm system
intercom?
works.
Because I was at Jack Norton School yesterday and there was a problem and there was something came up. And so we needed the bus driver to come and answer some questions. They did, these folks. And so we're looking for her and there was another lady supposed to be there. So some people went that way to look for there and no, she's not over there. Is she over there? So all this running around. And I asked the secretary, I thought we had like some kind of intercom system here that telephone could call from room to room. And she said none of that's working down there. So they were
So we
basically.
can get
outside
a work order and
kinda
get
yelling
IT,
for
look at
somebody
it.
Yeah, let's do that pronto.
Okay, I'll talk to Rika.
Okay.
So,
But the structure is there.
Right, okay.
So you should be able to take your phone, dial a few numbers, and you would be on a loudspeaker, similar to how Hoopa Elementary does the bus runs. And
Yeah.
I can hear it from my office. It's
Well, I know our phone system down there is different than what you
Yeah.
have here. We're on.
correct. And I know that we are constantly working on that.
But internet, we didn't have internet down there yesterday at all. So the secretary was.
so that's why,
because
because Jack
Yeah.
Norton does work off Wi-Fi.
We're
Doesn't,
not Wi-Fi and we don't always have internet.
And we always gotta have
And
a
that's
backup.
an issue that we need a backup for. I think we've asked this before. Right now, they're on a like HughesNet internet, but we were asking at some point to see if we could get 2 separate internets, like get the Yurok Tribes internet, if they could come in and hook up and along with this other internet.
We
So
could even talk
someone's
about
not working.
Starlink down there.
Yeah,
which is another
yeah,
viable option.
Starlink, so.
Starlink's probably the best option right now.
Willie, what's the status of all the base radios? We were getting base radios.
so that would be a question for Missy Ammon, because what's happening, the bus radios are becoming obsolete. So what we wanted to do is when we make a big order, is that all the radios are for the whole district and the bus shop, so we all can communicate, update the CB radios that we do have, like here, they used to do prior tests of talking on CB radio between Jack Norton, Witchback, Koopa. So at that time, we were gonna make it all one system, so it's everybody's on the same page, because that system is failing the bus system. With their,
That would help as a backup also.
Yeah.
yes,
And we always use the bus radios too, as our
Right.
backup. It's like, if all else fails at Jack Norton, they can go to the bus and grab this, CB and they will have communication.
so to add on to that is that why the radios are failing now, because it was on a wide band. Now they're going to a narrow band digital, and see, our systems are old, so they're not reused in the new system, the new digital and narrow band. So we have to update to communicate. So
Question on the floor, Ms. Reese.
Yeah, it was updating the wellness website the other day, and in doing so, I noticed that on our district website, we have a tip line, which I never noticed before, and it does have some phone numbers attached to it. So I'm wondering, when we do our community outreach, maybe important to, like I said, it was new to me. Maybe we talk about that, if you see something or hear something, here's a way to report it anonymously or with whatever detail you're comfortable sharing. Because I think that's also kind of key in what we're doing. And I was gonna put that link on the wellness website too, but first I want to make sure that that's something that, we all agree that is important.
Sure, it's a number that's being answered.
Yeah. Yeah, who would be answering the number?
I don't know, it had it had like office extension and some numbers that I wasn't familiar with, but I think we should consider, activating that system if it's dormant.
We need to make sure that they provide service to Eastern Humboldt. A lot of times they will listen, they'll listen to the suicide hotline, et cetera, et cetera. But if they're way out of our service area, they don't know how to respond.
So this was the county's website?
No, it was our
Our
website.
website? Oh,
Well, that was
our website.
previously,
It was just like a
It's a
few days
tip
ago, I
line.
saw it. So,
And that's prior to even me when I was up there.
yeah,
So
no, we
it's-
don't have that. I mean, I think
Just links to
Sam Maloney did that when
form.
she was here. Time ago.
Link to form and stuff, so.
Well, all
That's
this,
a good idea.
all this communication is relevant to item 12L, that we'll need no action. Is that what we're deciding in this, as a group?
That's my.
Okay, so,
So threat level low, activities will continue.
and before we go any further, I, as a board member, want to ask Superintendent Lane, are you comfortable with this outcome?
Yes,
Resource Officer Hostler, are you comfortable with this outcome?
Yes.
Because it sounds like it's on behalf of this board, the communication we're giving you is we trust you. That's why you are
that's what
there.
I'm hearing.
So, okay,
Thank
ladies
you.
and gentlemen. This item was removed, item 12M was removed from consent to action item. It is known as 12M, approval of 2023-2024 business and instructional calendar. Board members, you have two calendars in front of you. The first one is known as, we'll refer to it as district version. And the second one underneath, if you'll notice to the left corner, is known as KTTA draft. We are open to talk about 12M.
So, okay, thanks. One thing that we wanted to do was make sure we started school on a Monday, so we had to do a little shuffling. I asked CFDA if we could take out admission day, since we seem to be the district that uses it, and give it the day before Thanksgiving, so we could have that Wednesday. Berla was able to contact their lawyers, and they said that that was okay as long as she paid, and they did, and so that's why I took off admissions day and put it on the day before Thanksgiving, because that was a real big seller. They really, above all else, wanted the day off before Thanksgiving.
So can you tell me in a nutshell, then and on the KTTA draft, you're looking at a full week for that break, or we're looking at
Looking at
3
3
days?
days, yeah.
Okay,
Last year we had half a day and they just felt like it wasn't, because they felt rushed, they didn't have enough time to travel. So in order to compromise this year and sell this calendar, I put that there for them.
If I could, if we were to make that switch, we could definitely accommodate that with the autumn break between 22nd and actual holiday. However, we still have our Native American Day that was not on the draft. for KTJUSD. That one is being held for the 8th. What date, what month? I'm sorry. August. 700.
so which Native American Day are
It's listed in CSE's contract.
that they get the 30th off?
It's just that it's not stated on there, just says and 9/8. And it doesn't say
So nine,
Native American,
9/12, when did you say they were engaged?
9/8.
So on,
It doesn't say what it is.
I know, that's missing, but that's that
That's that
holiday.
day.
Yes.
and you're saying that that was a requirement of CSEA to have the
Contract.
Native
In their
American?
contract.
So they would not only need to renegotiate admission day, Kim, it looks like they'd also need to renegotiate a Native American Day.
What day is that?
No, the,
No?
actually, just history is that Native American Day has always been, it has to be there, but it's the district. When it is Native American Day, and that is a holiday for husband and wife. So
So when we go ahead, Terry, and put like a whole week for that, because we're off for ceremonies, would that suffice with the union?
no, you're gonna have to specify, because
Which one of those days?
No, one, they only get one day, right? I mean, we're
So
just-
what it is during that recess, we can definitely drop that holiday into that week-long recess. That way.
That would be my recommendation,
That's fine.
Yes.
We could change.
For the 8th?
the 8th, and make one of the days that we're off for the week for deerskin dance to be that day. You might as well make it both dance day, the whole tribe takes off both dance.
I need a point of clarification here, folks, because we are talking about adopting district version or KTPA draft. Are we talking about a totally different
I think
calendar?
we're trying to merge the marriage of the two of these calendars.
So we need to identify that as
Correct,
a different calendar, folks.
correct. But we could use these two as drafts.
That's fine. As long as you name it, that's fine.
If we take it and put it into that recess, however,
Yes.
will be one day over. 81 days. You left it on the off day on that Friday, then there's enough instructional days on the calendar.
Yeah, what's wrong with leaving it the
We
8th?
can leave it there,
On the
because
eighth.
it would mess it up, so pardon.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
See, we have a Native American Day as the 8th, Friday before the Native ceremonies clip off. So that would just be 6 days off in a row instead of just the week.
No, I'm talking about the one.
That's what
One
you
day.
want.
So you have to have 180 instructional days.
So by moving this to the ceremonial date is what, one,
Puts us
It
over.
adds in that
oh, puts
extra
us
day.
over.
an extra day.
So well, how about this? Let's be a little creative thinking here and let's axe out the last week in June, and can we manipulate it that way?
You mean work backwards?
Work backwards.
Instead of graduate on the 21st, graduate on the 20th.
Yeah, there's
do
some
the
smoke
day.
days here. Is smoke days a day off?
Yeah,
Well,
smoke and
it's-
snow, and we used them all this year, just so you know. We started with the fire.
They're just placement.
Correct.
though.
Okay,
They're just placement.
Yes.
5 extra days based on our district's history of taking snow days, smoke days, natural disasters that happen. And we would, in the past, we would be able to do J13s, which are, we would ask the state for the forgiveness of those days. Every year, we were asking for forgiveness for weeks at a time.
But
And
you have to do it in the moment, right, when it happens.
Yes.
yes,
So
So these days was moved to the.
By putting these
day.
days in the calendar, it gives us the liberty that, and should an emergency occur like happened this year, where we have the wildfire and Red Cross takes over Trinity Valley, for example, that we had the ability to move those smoke days to the front of the calendar versus where they were. So they're basic, they can move.
They're floating
They're
days.
floating days, but they still exist.
So what if we don't ever have to use them? Do we get out of school?
Then these would be school holidays.
Be non-instruction days, non-holiday, they're non-instruction days.
But I'll guarantee you, we use them every year, and one reason that we get approval from the state for all of our hardship is because they say, well, does your calendar reflect that your district is preparing for these kind of natural disasters? And we can say, absolutely, yes, it does.
I need clarification. So are you saying we have to take Admissions Day and we have to have a Native American Day in September? Because the original draft I got said 9/8 was Admissions Day and never showed any Native American Day that needs to be for CSEA. So are you asking that 2 days?
9/8.
Two separate.
9/8 and 9. Yeah, that's my question.
They're two separate holidays that they're entitled to, so.
Yes.
But when Kim's saying that they talked to the attorney and what moved the day or waived the day, what did they recommend?
As long as the union agreed.
They could vote.
That's
But
admission
should not take it, yeah.
That's only
admission day. Native American Day, your mother
Yeah.
was the one back in, I don't know how, long time ago, declared it. And so when she declared it, it went
Okay.
on the thing and in the contract.
Thank you.
Or the KTJUSD contract, but it's in CSEA's.
So what do we do about?
So right now, what I'm seeing is, district version has 11 holidays and KTPA has 10.
Because the proposal was,
There's three.
they voted not to use admission day. Is that what I heard you say?
CSEA.
CSEA.
It's not in my contract, it's.
Correct.
CSEA.
Okay.
Yeah.
They did.
I-
They are
we
using
actually-
it. but
I actually asked them to move it to the
Yeah,
day
yeah, they
before
have to use
Thanksgiving.
they just
It's
moved it.
still a
Okay.
day,
And
yeah.
that's the way it's always been.
Okay.
Okay, I just found where we would not be over a day because we're moving
Yeah.
admissions day into and taking the day
Shifting it to,
and shifting it to the autumn break, therefore.
as President Boone has requested in the beginning of it. So that's the only draft one, KTTA draft recognizes that move, correct?
Where?
Yes, and are you asking me to say September 15th as Native American Day? To put calendar that?
Has to stay, the 8 has to stay
The 8.
For CSEA.
because of the days, the instructional days.
Yeah.
Is it more saying that
you can move it?
Can't we move that day?
We don't have to.
So yes, we could move that day.
Okay,
I'd like to recognize and yield the floor to Ms. Cogrove back there, yes.
That would be nice to have the Friday before dances start off for families, I think.
Yes.
So I
Yeah.
think that 9/8 that we should still take that day off, because that would be great for dance families, getting ready. So that's my opinion.
Okay, so with that then,
The only place you would move it is to.
they did move it, they moved.
Well, they moved it
admissions
to
day.
the autumn break.
But correct me if I'm wrong, Ms. Cogrove just said she doesn't, she would not like to see it move, correct?
I'd like it.
She'd like to see it stay.
Yes.
Yeah.
For the reason.
So you get the Friday off before dances. That would be 9/8.
We would not then be able to take that autumn break because we took.
So they're trying to move it to the cheat, so 3 days off for the Thanksgiving.
So this is.
or start school on a Friday, which I thought was really bizarre.
Yeah.
But not impossible, we could.
Okay.
I'm okay with
I take that.
Maybe that's, I'd say.
Okay, so we are still locked into the district version or KTTA draft. That's.
Preparing, so we still have 2 calendars. Okay,
So
so
they're not working between the two, regardless of,
There needs to be a. third.
so then we need to have a third proposal.
yes. If I could at least get the start of school, the end of school, agreed upon, that would be great. I have to move forward with budgets and our staff's calendars for next year.
Well, I think we need to discuss, where we want the spring break, because that's another big change from between the two calendars, is the spring break. And I know trustee Jackson was saying it has something to do with teachers that have students in other districts that take a different week off.
The
Or
spring
the
break
spring
on the KTJUSD draft aligns with Northern Humboldt School District and the Humboldt County Office of Education. And that 1/3 of our staff do not live here or reside here. So they do, this was a big thing that they wanted. They conceded to not have spring break around Easter, but rather with their children.
So why was our reasoning for having the district one the week before?
Just follow that.
But it doesn't fall.
We're
under
not
Easter.
set in stone with our spring break.
So it doesn't really matter.
So ladies and gentlemen and board trustees, it's been requested by Ms. Hostler to give a start date and an end date, and then it would give us time to build a calendar that we can approve at a later date. Would that be okay, Ms. Hostler?
Or
We could do a straw vote if it's just a matter of.
we can do that, yes.
Is that what, so, but we do need to agree upon a start date and end date for your purposes.
That would be great.
Okay. Question on the floor?
I don't want to complicate this anymore. Superintendent Lane, I apologize if this is kind of hitting your broadside. This is why I called you yesterday. If it doesn't have anything to do with instructional days or changing where parent-teacher conferences are happening, it would be beneficial for our MAP assessments and our SFA assessments to align to when we're doing those parent-teacher conferences, so that we can get the data that we need from our MAP assessments to do our SFA placements. I'm talking in too many acronyms, let me know. If we are able to move those parent-teacher conferences, and I can talk to you about those dates specifically without a calendar approval or affecting what KTTA requests are, it would be really beneficial to the scheduling of our in.
So are you telling me currently or telling us that right now the parent conferences don't align with what you're saying, what you're requesting?
Correct. So if we were to follow our reading
SFA calendar.
our SFA schedule, we would be doing assessments for our students in MAP to get our multiple measure at whatever point it is, the 8th week. And so at that 8th week, we would have the MAP test done, but it's currently the way the family contact days are situated. There's a big span between, or, a month to a month and a half, depending on which parent-teacher conference you look at, and to have those MAP results available for teachers to have their parent-teacher conferences. The closer we have those MAP tests to those parent-teacher conferences, the better. So what I'm proposing and hoping to be able to do is to move those parent-teacher conferences a little further up to closer to the trimester.
So historically, the first parent conferences are not about grades.
Correct.
It's about meet,
Correct.
great, here are the expectations, this is what your child should learn, are there any concerns? That's what it's for, that's why we want it early in the year. I understand where you're coming from, but that's really not what we use it for.
Okay, well, in that case, I'm glad to know that. In that case, then we probably wouldn't need to do anything. It's the one later in the year that I would like to look at. And again,
It's fine. I think we can discuss, the MAP schedule
Okay.
separate from this,
Okay.
Sounds like administrative.
Correct.
Okay.
Noted. Thank you. Yeah,
Well, thank you for that.
we need to get in alignment with those
Yeah.
parent-teacher conference for the second and third phase at least.
Yes.
That makes sense. So, and then that's an administrative.
Yeah,
thing.
we'll work that out.
Fair enough. Thank you.
I think from what I'm hearing, group, we need to agree upon a start date and end date for Ms. Hostler's purposes, and then this can all get kind of shook out amongst the players that be. Are you okay with this?
People calendars start and stop at the same day.
So my only two things that my union asked was, one, that spring break from the 15th to the 19th of April and the day before Thanksgiving. I think they're pretty flexible on everything else.
And what was the second thing?
The day before Thanksgiving, to have it completely and entirely off. No half day, no minimum days, no, they want it.
Can we recognize from superintendent that that's doable?
I believe that's doable.
Smoke days, I only put smoke days before and after Easter because we really weren't gonna use them. I mean, typically we haven't been able to use a smoke day, so those are just kind of non-dates anyway. But it would have been nice if we could have took them. That way they could have some travel time around Easter anyway. I realize they're early in the year, but that was just a compromise.
It's always a nice concept though to think about, right? You can think about 2 extra days into your spring break. Someday it might happen, everything burned up last year, we never know, it might happen.
Do we agree that school, oh, yeah,
I have a
please.
question on minimum days. Is there only so many minimum days that can be? Like there's 5 smoke days that are identified, but then there's also, I think, minimum days.
We
So,
can also adjust the minimum days.
I mean, it's a certain
Those
number
are used
or.
for, right, professional development throughout the year.
It is, however, we also have instructions in it. So not only do we have the 100 days, we don't have.
But if we took off a couple minimum days here and said they're regular days, that wouldn't affect we'd have more minutes instead of less minutes.
But if we took a full day off. Is that what you're saying?
So
That was minimum pay.
I was questioning if there was only so many minimum days, like there's 7.
every Monday on here, yeah.
With their limit on minimum days, where it's a matter of.
Would you keep base instructional minutes? I mean, we could always take a look at that. It might be a future discussion in regards to how the, having those minimum early out Mondays, I guess
Yes,
we would
thank you.
say, how is that working? But I'm not sure.
The purpose was that we could hold, staff meetings, we could have group grade level meetings, we could offer half-day professional development if we invited some groups to come in and they do a half session here and half session here. The purpose was so that we could put it throughout the year.
I want to recognize TFA President, Ms. Verla Robbins. We are on the calendar.
I have a meeting tonight. Thank you.
President Boone.
I'm Edie, I work for Two Feathers, program manager. The last week of school, how it has minimum days for 3 days and then that Juneteenth off. What if we ended a week earlier and didn't do minimum days? Is that, do you have to do minimum days leading up to the finish of school or?
You have to have 180 instructional days.
Oh, I see. Okay, that would.
And also, there will be a holiday right in the middle of the last week of school.
Yeah.
Juneteenth. So on Monday, Tuesday, take a holiday and then get 2 days off. Yeah, that's gonna fit, right? I should have paid that.
Graduating Jack Norton on the
Right.
13th.
Oh, wow.
That's
It is
right.
what it
Two
is.
sides long. Yeah.
So
Or do it Monday. You could do
What is our
that.
resolution here, folks?
we can't just take one of these and just say we accept KTTA with the following changes. We can't do that. We're gonna drag it out another, week here or something.
I would just take a couple of days to finalize it. And take struggle.
We do that.
That'd be easier. I was thinking that was pretty simple.
Charlie?
Terry just mentioned, could we start a week earlier so that we're out on the 14th?
That's what I was gonna
How can we do
suggest,
that?
if it's
Yeah, it needs to
problematic.
happen. I wish we could have
And I was
it.
hoping that we could.
Oh, that's a drastic measure
Well, I was looking at
We should
the
note
next
that.
week, if we could put can we move a holiday into there? Can we move a minimum? What can we do to?
Yeah.
It is.
Which.
And I was looking, the eighth, if the eighth could move there, that leaves 3 days, we're keeping the 11th, that left.
So
3
the
days.
union recommended that the 8th move to Thanksgiving holiday.
Correct.
Okay, that was
The
their.
11th.
They voted.
The 11th moves to the 20th.
The 11th? Oh, the 11th. Thank you. That one's August too. I thought it was part of the week. So that was, they already voted on that.
Yeah.
I don't know what the CSEA's voted, Berla, do you know?
So we concurred with the KTJA and I was looking up on the mission day because they said we have to have it. According to what I read this morning, it's not required for public schools and a couple other ones.
No, but it's
It's in your contract.
It's in your contract.
Is it in our contract?
Yes.
Well,
Yeah.
not only that, it's on a Saturday.
We would observe it on the Friday.
it's always, the history has always been that CSEA tells the district or, you know, that this is where we want it. We don't, that's never stayed on admission day, never. They used to put it for the Christmas, the break.
Yeah.
It's always been there
They got a little longer.
for years and years.
So
So they,
mission days.
so they
have the
get 3
history
days
of
off
floating
instead of.
On the
Yes.
calendar based on the
Yes.
CSA, how they wish, how that union wishes to recognize that.
But all I know that was the one that needed to be added in. That's what I was told a couple
Yeah,
weeks ago.
no, they've always just moved it around Christmas time. If you move it the day before
The native
Thanksgiving,
Yeah.
or where they want to move it, you're impinging on the 180 days. That's just a little bit of a problem. If you move it around the break, the Christmas break, you won't impinge on the 180 days. So, but, and I don't know, the people used to like it that way, so that they could have before and after Christmas, like the day, because 12-month employees work it. I mean, that's what the deal is, they
Yeah.
work it.
Correct.
So, anyway.
So is it my understanding that this, the board agrees that school or climate training joint unified school district calendar will, for calendar 23-24 will start on August 28th and end on June 21st. Is that agreed upon? And then there are addendums to this calendar that will be presented at a later date.
That will be presented to you as a straw vote, is what I'm hearing.
Is that
What you
okay?
would prefer.
So-
Yes.
I never did hear an answer to somebody asked, why can't we start a week earlier so we can end? a week
That would
earlier?
cause another grouping with unions because it has to be agreed upon by the unions.
So the unions already agreed to.
They've
Well,
agreed to
not
these
only that, we're still in the white deerskin dance. And part of the reason during the
okay.
week,
That's
we're
fine.
trying to end the deerskin dance, start school. And then get rid of the next week off is the jump dance.
Okay.
And historically, this board has supported our tribal communities in that. This year it's Hupa's year, next year will be the Huron tribes year.
Yeah, no problem. I never heard an answer to that. I
Yeah, well,
understand.
that's the answer, that many employees would be out, including myself.
No, I'm
And
fine
I'm
with
just
this.
looking at, seeing how we can make that.
Yes,
Sure.
no, I understand.
Does this item 12M require a motion? Or
For the start.
The start and the end is what I
may I
would
get
say.
a motion on the floor to start climate training joint unified school district calendar 23-24, August 28th and end on June 21st. Trustee Jackson moves, seconded by trustee Myers. All in favor, say aye.
Yay.
We get an aye out of
Oh,
here.
Lori.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries.
We will expect a different calendar coming that shows everybody's union perspective with the admission day.
Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes this at 12:42. We will adjourn this meeting.
You guys have lunch, so this came out.
Thank you. Push it out, somebody, what's on the live feed there? Do we have live feed there?
About